There's a lot going on in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a movie full of cool details, slow moments that build tension, and characters you can't help but watch. But the scene that really stands out, the one that takes the movie from really good to something unforgettable, is the final one at Rick Dalton's house. This isn't just the big ending, it's the moment where everything comes together and the movie flips into something special. It's wild, intense, and honestly kind of funny. The kind of scene that makes you sit back and go, whoa, it's Tarantino doing what he does best, surprising us and making it all work somehow. But to really get why this scene matters so much, we need to back up a bit. This movie is set in 1969, and it's not just a random time. A lot of real stuff was happening then, especially the Manson family crimes, which shook up Hollywood big time. That real history is what makes this ending so powerful. So, before we get into the details of that final scene, let's talk about what was going on in Hollywood back then. To truly understand why the ending of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood hits so hard, you need to look at what leads up to it. The film is set in 1969, a turning point in Hollywood. Old-school movie stars like Rick Dalton feel their fame slipping away, while a new wave of actors and styles starts taking over. There's nostalgia in the air, but also a sense of tension, like something's about to break. At the same time, a real and growing threat lingers just outside the spotlight: the Manson family. This was no ordinary group. They were a cult, led by the manipulative and delusional Charles Manson, whose twisted beliefs and influence over his followers led to some of the most shocking crimes in American history. In the film, Tarantino doesn't make them the focus right away, but they're always there, hanging like a shadow over the story. Their presence is felt most intensely in the scenes at the Spahn Ranch, a former movie set now turned into a creepy commune where the family lives. When Cliff Booth decides to check it out, the tone of the film shifts dramatically. The sun is still shining, but everything feels wrong. The silence is heavy. The people are strange, and the sense of danger is thick in the air. It's one of the most suspenseful parts of the movie, not because of what happens, but because of what might. You can feel the tension in every glance and every word. Tarantino uses these moments to quietly raise the stakes. He doesn't show violence here. He shows something worse, the calm before it. The Manson family moves in the background like a ticking time bomb, and the audience, especially those who know the real story, feel it getting closer to zero. This slow, creeping dread makes the final confrontation all the more explosive, because we've felt the threat building the whole time. Meanwhile, Rick struggles with self-doubt, and Cliff carries a mysterious past. The movie slowly builds all these elements with a simmering tension that never fully lets up. But Tarantino doesn't just replay history, he flips it. Everything builds to one wild, violent, and surprisingly funny climax, where Rick and Cliff become the unlikely heroes facing off against the Manson followers. That's when the film blows open, and every moment before it suddenly clicks into place. So, here's how it goes down. It's late at night, and Rick Dalton is relaxing at home after a long day. His friend and stuntman, Cliff Booth, is also there, but he's just taken an acid-laced cigarette, so he's in a weird headspace. Meanwhile, 3 members of the Manson family are creeping through the neighborhood, planning to kill whoever lives in Dalton's house. This moment is tense. If you know the real story, you're expecting the worst. But then Tarantino flips the script. Instead of letting history repeat itself, he lets the good guys fight back. And it's explosive. The Manson followers break into the house, but they don't expect Cliff Booth. Even high on acid, he's a force to be reckoned with. What follows is pure chaos. Cliff unleashes his dog on them, fights them off with brutal precision, and ends up smashing one of them into a phone and fireplace. It's violent, it's over the top, and somehow it's hilarious too. And just when you think it's over, Rick Dalton, the washed-up actor trying to hang on to his career, shows up with a flamethrower. Yes, an actual flamethrower, the same one from a war movie he filmed years ago. He torches the last attacker in his pool in one of the wildest movie moments ever. This scene works because it's so unexpected. It builds tension like it's going to be a tragedy, then flips into a bizarre, satisfying fantasy. It's Tarantino's way of rewriting history and giving these characters, and maybe even Hollywood itself, a second chance. Before we continue with the video and my further explanation about the scene, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and help me out. Okay, let's continue. Tarantino is known for playing with history in his movies, and this scene is a perfect example of that. Instead of showing the real awful ending that happened in 1969, he imagines a world where the Manson family fails badly. It's not just about changing facts, it's about changing the feeling that came with them. In real life, the Manson murders were a dark turning point. They made people feel like the good times were over, like Hollywood had lost its innocence. But in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino gives us an alternate version, one where the bad guys don't get away with it and the heroes step up. It's like a big what if, where things turn out okay for once. That's part of what makes this scene hit so hard. It doesn't erase the horror of what happened, but it gives us a kind of emotional release. There's something powerful about seeing justice served, even in a made-up way. It lets us imagine a world where the dream didn't die so soon. And that fits the movie's title perfectly. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It sounds like a fairy tale because, in a way, it is. This scene is the fantasy ending to a real-life tragedy, wrapped in action, humor, and movie magic. Tarantino isn't saying this is how it should have gone. He's just letting us feel for a moment what it would have been like if it had. All throughout the movie, we've been watching Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth try to figure out where they fit in a changing Hollywood. Rick's career is fading, and he's scared he's washed up. Cliff, his stunt double and best friend, is loyal but stuck in the background. They're both drifting. Two guys past their prime, trying to hold on to something that's slipping away. But in this final scene, everything changes. Rick, who's spent the whole movie feeling useless and insecure, gets a moment of total control and power. When he fires up that flamethrower, it's like he's stepping back into the spotlight. He's no longer just a forgotten actor. He's the hero of the story, and he owns it. Cliff, on the other hand, shows just how tough and capable he really is. Even high out of his mind, he stays cool and handles the attackers like a pro. All the talk about him being dangerous or unstable suddenly makes sense. Not because he's bad, but because he's the kind of guy you want on your side when things go wrong. This scene isn't just a big action payoff. It's a reward for these characters. After all their struggles, they get to be the ones who make a difference. It's their moment to shine, and it gives their stories real weight. That's what makes the ending feel earned. It's not just crazy and fun. It's the moment where both Rick and Cliff finally become the people they were meant to be. Tarantino didn't just write a wild ending. He directed it with so much skill that every part of the scene works perfectly. First off, the pacing is masterful. He takes his time building the tension, using quiet moments and long takes that make you feel like something terrible is coming. Then, when the violence hits, it's fast, loud, and totally in your face. The sound design plays a huge role. You hear every thud, scream, and crash, and it makes the scene feel real, even when it's way over the top. And the way he uses music, or sometimes the lack of it, helps keep the mood shifting. 1 minute you're on edge, the next you're laughing, then suddenly you're shocked. It's a roller coaster. The camera work is also a big deal. Tarantino knows exactly where to place the camera to make each hit, throw, or flamethrower blast feel big. He doesn't cut away too fast, which makes everything more intense and harder to look away from. You're locked into the chaos with the characters. And let's not forget the performances. Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio absolutely kill it here. Pitt keeps Cliff cool and funny, even while he's being brutally efficient. DiCaprio turns Rick's big flamethrower moment into something both ridiculous and awesome. You can see the fear and rage in his face, and then the satisfaction when it's over. All of these elements, the editing, the acting, the sound, the shots, come together to make this more than just a violent scene. It's a piece of movie magic, the kind of moment that reminds you why people fall in love with film in the first place. When the movie came out, this final scene got people talking. A lot. Some critics were shocked by how violent it was, even by Tarantino standards. Others thought it was brilliant. But one thing's for sure, it left an impression. Whether people loved it or hated it, they remembered it. A lot of fans really connected with it. They saw it as Tarantino's way of standing up for Hollywood, for movies, and for the kind of people who don't always get to be the heroes. There's something satisfying about watching Cliff and Rick, two guys just trying to make it through the day, completely flip the script and take control. Critics praised the scene for its boldness and how it pulled together everything the movie had been building up to. The mix of comedy, horror, and action felt like classic Tarantino, but with a surprising emotional core. It gave people something they didn't expect, and that's why it works so well. In the end, this scene helped seal the movie's reputation. It wasn't just another Hollywood story. It was a new kind of fairy tale, one that didn't play by the rules and left a mark on everyone who saw it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a big, bold movie, full of nostalgia, style, and heart. But it's that one final scene that takes it to another level. It's not just a great ending, it's the moment where everything comes together and the whole movie clicks into place. By flipping history, giving the underdogs a win, and doing it all with style, Tarantino turns what could have been just another Hollywood throwback into something unforgettable. It's funny, shocking, and emotional, all at once. And it shows what movies can do when a director takes a risk and goes all in. That's why this scene matters so much. It's not just about the action or the surprise. It's about rewriting the past, honoring the dreamers, and making something that sticks with you long after the credits roll. That's the moment where Once Upon a Time in Hollywood becomes a masterpiece.
Are you okay?
Well, yes, I am. Thank you for asking that.
Rick, would you like to come up to the house for a drink and meet my other friends?